What's up, y'all? I'm coming to you today with a kind of disturbing story. Please like and um, what they call it? Please like and subscribe to my channel. I have more videos dealing with this type of topics. I don't. So please like and subscribe. For this particular, what I'm going to be talking about today, I don't have any video footage, but everything I'm saying, please feel free to go look at it on usnnews.com. You can find the story I'm going to be talking about. You can also find this story um, on the Daily News. But anyway, this is the story. In New York City, we have a family of four heading to out of town to I guess a family social gathering. So anyway, the car is going 95 miles per hour, or excuse me, the gentleman. Let me see if I can actually go in here because I would like to have um, the names. Actually, I can read to you. A father whose 11-year-old daughter was killed when a New York State police car crashed into his sports utility vehicle, says the state trooper involved in the fatal crash pepper sprayed his family and rammed into the back of his SUV twice at speed. Um, really trying to find his name. Okay, 39-year-old Brooklyn resident. Is his name in here? I want to say his name is Christopher Goods. Okay, well, anyway, his last name is Goods. And the daughter's name that was killed is Monica Goods and Tristina Goods. But anyway, the story goes he was speeding. Okay, supposedly he went past the police officer so fast that the officer claimed when he pulled him over that he shook his vehicle. So Goods responded to him, "No, that wasn't me who shook your car up. It was a tractor or something else that shook your car." But at any hand, he stopped the Goods family. Mind you, it's a man, his wife, and two children are inside of this vehicle, young children, one being 11, and I believe the other young lady was 13 years old. So they do the normal thing. What's your name? Um, you know, what are you doing? I need identification and those sorts of things or whatever. And this is a traditional like traffic stop. So officer goes back to the car after questioning him about drugs and weapons. Comes back to the car when I guess Goods was, like, well, what's going on? What's the issue? What's the problem? So he goes to the car, comes back to Goods' vehicle, and then begins to mace or pepper spray everybody inside of the vehicle. So, with this being said, see, this is why I keep saying we call them law enforcement. They are not. They are. If we keep want to call them law enforcement, what is legal about a man walking up to your vehicle with your wife and two kids inside of the vehicle and pepper spraying everybody? Your wife, your young kids, pepper sprayed, and the initial stop is for a speeding violation. So how is that legal? How is that law? How is that ethical? So anyway, after he pepper sprayed the family, the kids are screaming and crying. Naturally, you would think to yourself, something's not right here, especially with how we see how so many traffic stops in death or in some form of violence. A lot of times we react. We see black men, black women, black kids reacting out of fear because we know our history with the police officers. And not only that, some of it just human nature. If you're sitting there and somebody just maced your wife, your kids, and yourself, and you're thinking like, okay, I'm being put up for a traffic stop, you know something's not wrong with the officer. So his instinct was to step on the gas. You know, they say that humans, we have the either fight or flight mentality. And so in that particular situation, with him not having any weapons in the vehicle, he proceeded to try to flee the situation. He also requested several times for a superior officer to be brought to the scene, which this particular officer in New York City refused to do. And actually, that's what led up to the pepper spraying of everyone because he got agitated about the fact that he was requesting a supervisor. So, anyway, Goods proceeds to try to pull off, leave the scene. So the officer speeds behind him, rams into the back of his vehicle once, then rams into his vehicle a second time, which caused for the 11-year-old to be ejected or thrown out of the vehicle. And she actually died on the spot because of being thrown out of that vehicle. And see, this is what I'm saying. How is it legal? How is that law enforcing the law to act or behave like that? How can a public servant or police officer deem it okay or necessary? See, that's how you know that there's a difference between blacks and whites and the value of blacks and whites in this family and in not all but lots of police officers' mentality. Now, what in your mind would make you think that it was okay or acceptable to say, I'm going to run into the back of a vehicle with a man that has his wife in the car with him and two young girls? See, this is why I say about somebody was saying something about black policing, like if we had black policing in our own communities and policing, I had our own police. Now, this is an example of what I was referring to, something like this. Now, a black officer that was in the black community and that was for the black community would not have done such a thing. There's no way that you're going to see a woman and two young girls in a car, and then you would ram your vehicle into the back of that vehicle, even if the father had done something. You're going to pepper spray the wife, you're going to pepper spray the young girls in the back of the car, and then when he takes off, you proceed to ram your vehicle, don't care if the little kids in the back get hurt, the woman in the car gets hurt, or any of that. Like, we blacks, we have to start opening up our eyes and really looking at things. We have to really look at things. Just think about that for a minute. This is man rammed his vehicle after pepper spraying them, rammed his vehicle 2 times in the back of Goods' vehicle with his family in the car. Now, does that make sense? Where do you get the idea, the mindset that was correct or that was okay behavior? Because they're not seeing you as a man with his family, with his wife in the car, with his two daughters in the car. And this is all over a speeding ticket. Can you imagine it has to be more to the story and it has to be something deeper. You're not going to tell me that he did all of that just simply based on the fact that this man was speeding. There has to be more to it than that. Just think about that. Somebody speeding, a very small misdemeanor charge, and you feel like you needed to pepper spray not just the person who was speeding, but the entire family, all women, and then ram into the back of their vehicle to the point to where their daughter was ejected and ended up killed. And that's what we see so many times. It's just going to different levels. So many times in just regular misdemeanor traffic stop, traffic offenses, blacks are ending up dead. Now, this is another child dead for a speeding violation. But I'll tell you where they get the idea that these types of things are okay, because they are okay. It is okay to do those sorts of things. This officer was not suspended. He's not facing any criminal charges. And the only punishment that was given to him was to be taken off the streets and given a desk job. And I'm not sure if that's a punishment or not. I'm sure there are certain police officers that love being on the streets. They love patrolling. They love doing that type of work. And then there's some others that may say, "Hey, I'm tired of being on the streets. I'll be more than glad to sit at a desk all day." So I'm not sure, um, my take on that is. But the point of the matter is, um, when you do these types of things, society and the system will let you know what is okay and what is not okay. And by virtue of the fact that this man is facing no criminal charges and he still has his job, solidifies the stance that these type of actions and these type of behaviors against blacks um, in the U.S. are acceptable and that they are okay. So um, I just wanted to bring that up because I just wanted, it's just shocking. It's not really shocking, but just I hope somebody sees this video. Any video I put out, I'm just putting it out there because it's just different things that I come across. And if just one other person can hear my opinion on it or watch and see what I'm talking about or what I'm uncovering or exposing, then I feel like I touch the world in some small way. And I just want us to have our eyes open and just really start looking at the system. And when we see these different stories, to really break them down, put ourselves in the officer's shoes and see, if I was the officer, how would I respond? Think about the law, how um, the families. And a lot of people want to get into the policy side of it. Well, he violated policy. It's not even about the policy. It's past policy. When these people are doing these types of things like that, it's kind of silly to me to say, well, we need to do this. The job needs to do this because he violated policy. He knew what he was doing. Can you tell me that there's any policies or any, just from an ethnical standpoint, you don't mace a woman and children, even the man, for a speeding violation. You don't run into the back of someone's vehicle for a speeding violation. Like, let's just make it make sense. And then while I'm on here, I want to go ahead and talk about something that the attorney for George Floyd said, that he wanted the judge to go light on George Floyd, and that he felt sorry for no, I apologize, for Derek Chauvin. He wanted the judge to go light on Derek Chauvin for killing George Floyd. Now, my thoughts on this is that's just ridiculous. Even if this man got the maximum sentencing, that would not be enough. That's not going to return George Floyd to his kids. That's not going to return him to his family. He's gone forever. So how, as an attorney, how could you dare get up on in the public before the sentencing, before the sentencing, and beg and ask the judge to go light on Derek Chauvin? Like, to me, that is like a slap in the face to the black community, and it also leads into the narrative that our lives are not as valuable as others. Because how what would be going too hard in a situation to where a police officer does a modern day lynching and kills someone by kneeling on their neck for 9 minutes while he's handcuffed and being held. And what's really sick about it is that George Floyd was already dead for several minutes and he continued to kneel on his neck. The ambulance was trying to check this man's pulse, and you're still on this man's neck. That is like ruthless. Um, I can't even describe the words for that. It's just pure. It was just pure evil. And then you, as the attorney of this family, gets on before the sentencing and asks the judge not to make Derek Chauvin an example. Why would you not want Derek Chauvin to be made an example? So this goes back to what I'm saying when we scale our value. So if this officer was able to do this and not get the maximum sentence, and we had people begging for mercy, then what would someone have to do to be deemed to get the maximum sentencing? See, this is when I talk about our justice system, when we try to lean on the justice system or try to depend on the justice system. I look at things on scales and on levels of things. So after all that was done, after everything was said, after video, after all the footage, and how horrible and how horrific this crime was, this officer still didn't get the maximum sentence. And then we got an attorney before the sentencing saying, don't make this man an example. Don't go too hard on him. How could I don't think there's enough room in the law or in the sentencing to where he could have went too hard on Derek Chauvin. So with him doing that, if that didn't guarantee the fullest extent of the law, what would it take for somebody to get the maximum when committing these type of acts on black men and women? That's what questions I like to critically think, and that's the question that came to mind. So please, like I said, like and subscribe. Please leave comments, and as I said, I have other videos that deal with similar topics, and I will see you all next time. Thank you.